No matter where you come from, no matter where you're going, here's a place where you can take comfort in the knowing that whether if you come to stay a while or just passing through, this door is open to you. Come and let's be silent. Come and share a hug. Come, let's pray together. Come, love and be loved. From the blissed out to the turned out, from the pampered to the abused, this door is open to you. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. The God in us recognizes the God in you. The God in you. Whether you're black or white, gay or straight, Christian, Buddhist or Jew, this door is open to you.
Good morning, Unity Renaissance. Did you join us on your feet this morning and sing our opening song with us? This is who we are, and we feel the love whenever we're together. This is why we're here, to serve the world and one another. We're being called to find a higher way, and to remember why we're here today, to love, serve, and remember. Love, serve, and remember. Love, serve, and remember who we are. This is where we grow and find the truth that always sets us free. And this is where we play and enjoy like-minded company. A place where we can share our joy and pain. A place where everybody knows your name as we love, serve, and remember. Love, serve, and remember. Love, serve, and remember who we are. And in remembering to love and serve, we're transforming lives that transform the world as we love, serve, and remember. Love, serve, and remember. Love, serve, and remember who we are. Love, serve, and remember. Love, serve, and remember. Love, serve, and remember who we are. And remember who we are. And remember who we are.
Testing, 1, 2, 3. Is that better? No. Testing, 1, 2. You're a good group of people. Thank you. I promised myself I'd be professional this morning. I know, everybody's laughing now. But anyway, I want to welcome you here this morning to Unity of Renaissance. You know, we are not a church. We are a movement. We move through life, seeking the truth of who we are and what we are. We move as we allow ourselves to be on a spiritual path so we can evolve into all of the beauty that we each are. We do it individually and we do it together as community. And as we do that, we have a vision and a mission. And I want us to share that this morning. The vision is, as soon as it comes up, thank you. Boy, looked at the wrong TV. Check off number 1 of professionalism. Number 2 is our mission, okay? And we transform lives that transform the world. Yes. And so again, thank you for being here. And now we will have our opening prayer. As we go in our heart space this morning, we relax. We breathe into this service, into this moment, into these moments we share together. And as we breathe in, we feel the Spirit that lies within us, that guides us and directs us so that we can move through life in peace, love, and joy. This is a time to celebrate together, to be together, to affirm one another. And we do that this very morning as we come together in the name of the Christ within each of us. And so it is. Amen.
Thank you, Brother Richard. Let's all stand now. We're going to trust in God. You guys ready? 1, 2, 3, 4.
I'm thankful, so grateful. I am one in the Spirit all around me. I'm thankful, so grateful. I trust in God. I'm thankful, so grateful. I am one in the Spirit all around me. I'm thankful, so grateful. I trust in God. I surrender. I surrender. I am one in the Spirit all around me. I surrender. I surrender. I trust in God. I'm joyful, so joyful. I am one in the Spirit all around me. I'm joyful, so joyful. I trust in God.
All right, and now everybody, we're going to greet each other with a bow, a handshake, or a hug, and we're going to repeat the divinity salute. Together, the divine in me greets the divine in you, and we serve and celebrate together for the glory of God.
I'm thankful, so grateful. I am one in the Spirit all around me. I'm thankful, so grateful. I trust in God. I trust in God.
All right, let's try this again. Yay, Red Mike. Good morning, everyone. My name is Lisa Smith, and I am pleased to be your platform host for today, and I will be sharing the daily word with you. And our word for today is care. Please join me in our affirmation together. I am here, and I care. Sometimes my heart goes out to a friend or even a stranger who is struggling. Other times my heart breaks when I learn of another's devastating news. In those moments, I feel the urge to help. I pray, affirming healing, peace, or comfort. I may offer financial support or material goods. I might call on the phone or visit in person. Even so, I may feel my efforts are not enough, especially when needs are great. But the impulse to care is in so many people, the activity of God streaming through so many hearts and hands. As I join my efforts with theirs, I trust that we can lift up even the most dire situation. I am caring presence, ready to help, serve, and love. Our scripture verse is from 1 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 8. So deeply do we care for you that we are determined to share with you not only the gospel of God, but also our own selves, because you have become very dear to us. If you would like prayer support today, we have several options for you. You may fill out a prayer request form on the prayer table just outside the sanctuary next to the chapel. Or you can submit a prayer request on our website, unityrenaissance.org. You may also call Unity Prayer Ministry, known as Silent Unity, anytime, day or night, 816-969-2000. And for those who are here today, we have prayer chaplains who are available to pray with you after the service. Would our prayer chaplains for this morning please rise? And after the service, they will be located inside the chapel, which is just outside the sanctuary, past the doors of the bookstore. Now, I welcome you all to rise and sing with us the Lord's Psalm.
Holy Creator, we praise your name. Your will in heaven and earth the same. Supply our needs, Lord, from day to day. Let your forgiveness light our way. Lead us away from temptation's fold. Deliver us, Lord, into your fold. For all the kingdom, power, and praise, with you began and with you stays. Holy Creator,
Our Father,
we
who art in
praise
heaven,
your name.
hallowed be thy name.
Your will in
Thy kingdom come,
heaven,
thy will be
and
done,
the same.
on earth as it is in heaven.
Supply our needs,
Give us this day
Lord,
our
from
daily
day
bread.
to day.
And forgive us our debts, as we have also forgiven our debtors.
Lead us away.
Lead us not into temptation,
Temptations,
but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power,
into
and
your
glory forever.
For all the kingdom, power, and praise, with you began and with you stays.
Amen.
Please be seated.
Thank you, Alice.
Every morning, the light keeps getting brighter as I wake up to the truth. Every day, I'm feeling so much lighter, and the world seems fresh and new. What I was taught and the way that I thought stopped serving me long ago. Now I'm learning to trust in the God in all of us. Each day I start anew, and so I'm walking away from the thinking that's held me for so long. Today is the day I walk away. I'm walking away from the path that led me to confusion. Today is the day I walk away. I'm walking away from the thinking that's held me for so long. Today is the day I walk away. I'm walking away from the path that led me to such sadness. Today is the day I walk away. Every day I walk away. Every morning brings a new beginning. By grace, another day to be. I awaken to the sun upon me shining, lighting the way for me to see the things that I sought and the way that I thought stopped serving me long ago. Now I'm learning to trust in the God in all of us. Of yesterday I'm letting go. I'm walking away from the thinking that's held me for so long. Today is the day I walk away. I'm walking away from the path that led me to confusion. Today is the day I walk away. I'm walking away from the less than that's held me for so long. Today is the day I walk away. I'm walking away from the path that led me to such sadness. Today is the day I walk away. Yes, every day I walk away. Today is the day I walk away.
Nick Hill. Yes, sir. Thank you, Nick.
Testing, 1, 2, 3. I don't know if you guys noticed, but Tyler has really been working hard to get all this working, and he's done it. Thank you, Tyler. We appreciate it.
Mr. Fix-It.
So this morning we're going to talk about new beginnings. And as we do, let me find it here. There we go. Aha. Okay, the next slide, please, since I don't have the slide clicker. There we go. We're going to be talking about, are you ready for new beginnings? Now, I think you are. Each and every one of us are. And you know, I walk away. What a great song. I walk away from the past, but what we bring with us are all the positive things that have worked in the past. We let go of the stuff maybe that didn't work. We let go of old ideas, and we step into new ideas. And so a new beginning is all about seeing a vision, seeing a light, having an understanding of what you want to become, individually and collectively. And as we move into that new division, that new beginning, remember from a couple messages I did that the stages of transition, that next slide, the stages of transition say that there is an ending. Now, there was an ending with Reverend Paula. And it was a sad ending for some of you, I know that. Because she was loved, she was phenomenal in what she did, one of the best ministers in music, one of the best ministers in the movement, as far as I'm concerned. And you were blessed to have her here. And even Richard, who came with her, okay? And so, anyway, as we've moved through this, and it's been a few months now, it'd be just about a year come December, when she decided to make that change. It was called to make that change, remember that, please, and did so beautifully. And so what happens is that we then go through a transition. We've been going through a transition here. Some people think the best thing you can do is immediately get a new minister. Well, that's easier said than done. And what studies have shown is if you immediately get a new minister, they last about 2 years. That's because that's what their contract says. They last 2 years. So they've really become an interim minister, a transitional minister without meaning to. So it's wise to take the time so that you go through this void that you feel, through this sense of not quite understanding where you are or what you're doing and why you're here. And as that starts to clear up, what happens is we get ready for the new beginnings. And I think that you are ready for those new beginnings right now. I think the right minister will be called here. And I want to remind you, called here. Not just for a job, but called here to be a part of your lives, to make a difference in your lives, to support you, and to support the board as the board does the work necessary to create a vision of what you are to become. And so in the new beginnings, there is a story in the Bible, a pretty long story as a matter of fact, about Moses. Now, I used to get up and say, everybody knows Moses, but today I don't say that anymore, because one Sunday I said that and one fellow raised up his hand and said, who's Moses? Okay? And so I understand. And Moses was a character in the Bible. He goes back, he's probably one of the most influential characters in the Bible. And there's a story about Moses. And most of you will remember, know the story, that Moses was raised as an Egyptian, as a prince. He knew that he was Jewish, though. And so therefore, one time when he saw a soldier beating a slave who was Egyptian, or who was Jewish at that time, he killed the person, and he ran away. But he ran away, he thought, from Egypt. But what he was really doing was running away just to find out what he needed to do. To get out in the wilderness, like we all can do. To find out, where am I and what's my role? What am I supposed to do with my experience and my time? And so he ran into a burning bush. And what he heard was the message, I am because you are. You are because I am. That's a metaphysical interpretation. It didn't say it quite that way in the Bible. But anyway, and he understood that, and then he did the thing that we all do. Why me? I mean, I stutter. Moses did stutter. Okay? They may kill me if I go back there. Because he knew what was happening. He's having a call to go back to Egypt and to deliver the people of Israel into a new promised land. And so he goes back. They go through a number of things, and finally Pharaoh is convinced that, yes, you can let the people go, and they go down to the Red Sea. When they get down to the Red Sea, Pharaoh changes his mind. And by the way, there's nothing in history that says this happened this way, but it's a great story. And so when he got down to the Red Sea, what happened was a fire took place and kept Pharaoh and his forces away for a while. And the one thing that Moses did that was so powerful was he stepped into the Red Sea and said, "Follow me." He didn't stand on the shore and say, "Follow me and let's hope the water opens up." He said, "I'm going to step into the water, come with me," and the sea's divided in the story. They got to the other side. Thank you. I want you to be here saying amen all day. Thank you. And anybody else too. So anyway, when they got to the other side, what happened was, of course, they thought they were going to go hungry. They were in the wilderness, and they were going to take us back home. You ever felt that way? I want to go back home. I want things the way they used to be. But do you really? And so Moses takes the children of Israel for 40 years, it says, and they marched around in the wilderness. Now, that wilderness is probably 10, 12 miles wide, actually physically. So what did they do for 40 years? For 40 years is the amount of time it takes to change and be ready for a new beginning. It's not a specific 40 years. It just symbolizes when you are ready, you are ready. And so they come to the promised land. And when they get to the promised land, one of the things that happens is that Joshua and a friend of his, I've forgotten his name, is it Joshua? Yeah. Go over and they check out with several other of the Israelites. They check out this new village on the other side. And they come back. And Joshua and his friend says, "We're not ready." The others said, "Not only are we not ready, you can't believe how big those people are over there. You can't believe what giants they are. I mean, they'll wipe us out." And of course, that brings in fear and concern and whether I should do that or not. So have you had any kinds of situations in your life where you're saying, "Hey, I got a problem, and boy, it's bigger than I am"? And what happens? We turn to fear, which doesn't work. And that's what happened with the Israelites. And so Moses said, "You're not ready to go. Go back. Go back out in the wilderness." And again, they went out, and supposedly they went out for enough time for a generation to pass, so that anybody who was older that was there when they tried to go into the promised, thought about going into the promised land, had passed away. Now they had new blood. They had new people, new thinking, new ways of being. And so they finally got to the promised land, and as we know, they went over into the promised land, and the walls of Jericho crumbled. So that is a story of transition. That's a story of how we have been and how we need, what we need to become in order to begin in that new beginning. And so one of the things here at Unity is that, and slide please, and is that we have a transition going on at Unity Renaissance. Nobody's surprised by that. But what I wanted to do as a transitional minister, report to you some of the things that are happening and have happened over the last 10 minutes. Most of them had nothing to do with me, so I'm not taking credit. Please understand that. These were happening because you have got a great staff here. Number one, we completed an audit to make sure all the money was where it was supposed to be, and it is. Number two, Alicia installed Breeze, a new database program. Some of the volunteers already know about that. It is hands-on. It is friendly. You can go to it. You can look up information. There's all kinds of things you can do with it. And it's user-friendly because I can use it. Okay? And so anyway, we have this thing called Breeze. We've done the landscaping. The landscaping committee got behind it. Paul got behind it. The funds were there, and we were able, the board provided more funds, and as you've seen outside, the landscaping is beautiful. And there's even more work going on in the backgrounds. At some point, we'll invite you back there. And then we brought on a bookkeeper, Wanda. And Wanda is a member of the church, and she is our bookkeeper. And so she's being trained to do all of the bookkeeping on Quicken, which is our software. And she is helping us understand how to be more efficient with our financial matters and reports that are available to us so we know what's really going on a day-to-day basis. And then we did a who and what session where we looked at the demographics. Who are we? Who do we want to become? Why are we here? And we talked about that, and there was a report done on that. And then we have the search team. Again, I have very little to do. I sat on the first parts of it, but when I start interviewing people, I do not participate in that. That's kind of a conflict of interest. They're doing a great job. And we're looking for more candidates. We're affirming more candidates are going to apply. And then we have staff training and staff. The staff meets every week just about, and we have about a 2-hour staff meeting. Everybody clears out anything about everything, and they talk to each other and say, here's where I need help, or here's what I'm doing. So they're in tune with one another. And we had a staff training that Gail Boynton did on coming to the heart space, working from the heart space. And several staff meetings, that really meant a lot to them, staff members. So that meant a lot to them, that they understood that we work together from the heart space, and when we do that, any differences of opinion are differences of opinion, and that's all they are. That we can talk to each other. We don't have to be upset with one another because we have a difference of opinion. We work together and compromise and figure out how from the heart space we can become one as a staff. And I know that that has happened here. And so we are looking at all of these new beginnings. And these are some of the things that we've done during the last 8 months or so. And then the next slide says, envision your land of milk and honey. Okay? Because that's what the Hebrew children called Canaan, the land of milk and honey. It wasn't. They made it that. But it looked, that was the concept behind it. So they had a dream, actually. And so I had an opportunity in the 70s where I was sent to Disney World to do the training on creative training. And the cool thing was that the first day, the instructor threw out an idea. And he said, he threw out a concept. I want as many ideas about this concept, how we can do this as possible. And so about 2 people got up and started to write on a chalkboard. Chalkboard was all the way around the room. A couple people got up and started writing on a chalkboard. About a third person got up and started to write down, and somebody said, oh, that's a bad idea. We tried that before in the group. The instructor said, no. There are no bad ideas. Keep writing. And before long, the whole room, all the chalkboards, were completely filled with ideas. And the idea is that we have lots of ways and good ideas, and the way to get that is by getting lots of ideas and throwing ones away. But you don't throw them away right away. You look at it all. And then what happens sometimes, you take the bad idea you think it is, put it with a good idea, and you got a better idea. And so what we want to do is be in this place where we have lots of ideas, and you are ready for that. And it's really up to the board and to the leadership to help develop that. It's not the new minister. It's a board and leadership that start to look at and define these ideas. Now, there's a process called the AI, and I know artificial intelligence has taken over, but this was affirmative inquiry. It's a process I've used for a lot of years. I found very effective. And what you do is that you, number one, you define what is our desired outcome. What are we going to look like? You can even paint pictures of it. You do a board on it, treasure board. You do all kinds of ways and try to figure out what do we want to look like. And when you get settled on what you want to become, what is our desire for our outcome, you then start a process of discovering your strengths. You see, affirmative inquiry is all about working from your strengths, not your weaknesses. Einstein said that you can Look at your weaknesses and work on your weaknesses a whole life. But you'll only grow if you really use your strengths. And so you start to look at what are your strengths. And then the third thing you do is you start to dream together. What would work well in the future? You know, you guys have the resources. You have the congregation. You have the staff. In order to think big, to grow big, you can see yourselves in the community. Maybe satellites. I'm not recommending either way or one, but maybe satellites is a possibility. Maybe working with other churches to develop a larger community. Because one of the things that unity has the right to, and I say this, has the right to, is to understand that we have a message that can literally change the world, especially today. And we are capable of that, and you guys have the assets, you have the leadership, and you have the people who can make that happen. So think big. Think big. And then once you have that dream, you start to design. What action do we need to take to make it happen? And then you deploy. You do the work, the 5 Ds. And so, while you're doing that, though, it's very important in New Beginnings to follow, in the next slide, the 5 principles. These are in my word, just to keep them simple. There's only one source. One source, and that source is in you. You are able to demonstrate that source, is the second principle. The third simple principle is what you dream, you will demonstrate. And then, meditative prayer brings the resources that you need to make your dream come true. That's what really happens. And then when you have those resources, you define what you want to be. You then take action. And I love action because it's automatic if you've done the first 4 principles and kept those in mind as you worked. And so, as we follow those principles, let's just come to the next slide here. At the bottom it says, a rock pile ceases to be a rock pile the moment a single person contemplates it bearing within the image of a cathedral. Not true. So see your cathedral, not your rock piles. There is a story of a man named Sims. He was an officer. He was in the Navy in around 1900 to about 1920. And one of the things that was happening that he discovered is that there is called a process of aiming towards a target. And that sounds funny, for ships. But what he discovered was Britain had figured a way so that when they shot at something with their cannons off the ships, they could get right into the wave so that everything was still and they could hit their targets, about 75% of the time. The United States would take a ship and go out and do the same identical thing, and they would only see success about 3% of the time. In other words, they were missing the target. The best they ever did was there was an old sailboat that they were shooting at, and they hit the mast one time. Okay? And Sims says, well, there's something to this. We've got to look at this. We've got to figure out what to do, and we've got to put into being the process that the British are using. And so he went to the top command. He went everywhere he could. Nobody was listening. Here's what the top command said. Next slide. 1, our equipment is as good as that of the British. The difference must be the training of the gunneries. Number 2, the training of gunners is not the responsibility of the Bureau, but the officers of the ships in question. Number 3, therefore, and most importantly, continuous aim firing, that's what it's called, is impossible. Now, here's a man who understood the importance. And so World War II, or World War I comes up. And he understands, and so what he does is he has enough ability and he knows enough people that he gets in front of Theodore Roosevelt. And he talks with Theodore Roosevelt. And he says, here's the idea, and I think we ought to adapt it. Theodore Roosevelt said, that's a stupid idea. He said, I'm going to make you the inspector of gunnery. You come up with this idea, you take it and you work with it. So that's what he did for 3 years. This was before World War I. And so for 3 years, he looked at that, and he worked on it. And what happened was, as he learned the secrets of how the British did it, he trained our people to do that with their ships. To be able to bring the ship into alignment so that the guns could be shot out, so that you could be more accurate. After 3 years, they took 2 ships, and both ships hit 75% of the targets, which were 25 feet by 75 feet. You think that made a difference in our warfare, in our ability to protect ourselves during World War I? Certainly it did. But this was a man who had an understanding, a dream, and he wasn't willing to say no. And so what you and I can do is we can continue to work and live because we're not willing to say no. And so this next slide says, don't be pushed by your problems, be led by your dreams. That's what I want to encourage you to do. This morning and the rest of the time I'm here, one of the lousy parts of being a transitional minister is that you're working yourself out of a job. Yeah. But I knew that coming in, okay? And you get to know people. You love the people. They love you. And so it's a wonderful, wonderful experience. But I do know that I'm working myself, and that's my job, out of a job. And we're getting close. And I think the right and perfect minister will be called here. I believe that. Look for that. Don't think about what they have to look like, their gender, anything else. Is this person, I see and know this person is called to Unity of Renaissance to help us define and understand and employ our dreams. That's when you're ready. And so I declare, you are ready. Amen. And so now, let's go into this time of meditation. This morning I'm going to ask you to, again, close your eyes. To take a nice deep breath. To release. Do it again. Nice breath. And release. And find yourself in this moment. Knowing in this moment, you can dream. Knowing in this moment, you can support, through your consciousness, the calling of the right and perfect minister. So be in the silence and feel the person that will come here. Don't worry about identifying. Don't worry about what they look like. Just feel the consciousness that you are attracting in this very moment. And affirm to yourself, as I dream, I can create. That my spirit and the spirit of the new minister are in sync and in oneness. And they feel a calling that they can't even explain. And one day, they will appear here as that new minister, ready, willing, and totally capable of loving each and every one of you exactly where you are. And so gently, gently open your eyes as we sing together and know the truth of who we are.
Flow, Spirit, flow through me as I open up to be an expression of your unfolding peace. Show, Spirit, show through me as I open up to be an expression of your unfolding love.
Okay. Well, this is the time for me to invite you to make a love offering, if you haven't already done so. And let me just say for a moment that one of the things that happens sometimes when there's a change, when there's transition, is income goes down a little bit. But do not worry about that, because income is just a flow, and it comes and it goes. And it's coming to you, all the resources you need. But I still want to remind you that you are the source. It's not something out there. You are the source that creates the income, that makes this place work and remain what it is. So please know that as you make a gift this morning. And you can give by giving in the back as you leave with either a check or cash. You can give online. You can give by actually dialing in with a little note, phone number.
540-418-1228. Text now.
And now, just hold your hands together like you have made your gift or that you're going to make your gift, and let's share together our offertory blessing. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive together, and I am grateful.
Give and it's given back to you. Give and it's given back to you. Give and it's given back to you. Pressed down, shaken together, running over, back in good measure. It's given back to you.
Thank you. Now, we have this opportunity to hear from one of our board members, the vice chair of the board, Valerie Winters, and she's going to share a prosperity minute with you. Now, she was supposed to share it last week, but she's going to share it this week because I finally called her up here.
Richard forgot me last week, but that's okay. That's okay. That was okay because I wouldn't have wanted to get involved with trying to interrupt the singing last week because Kim was amazing, so. Okay. As Richard said, I'm your vice president of your board, and I have the privilege of speaking to you this morning about prosperity. And as I was thinking about what did I want to talk about, it's like, I don't want to get up here and beg you for money because that's not my thing. I don't like doing that. But then I started thinking about, we're in a time of transition, and what's happened to me when I've been in transition in my personal life and how that's impacted me and what I do and what I give, whether it be at work or wherever. And I thought about it because we have a new transitional ministry. We have a new YFM director. We have a new bookstore manager. There's a lot of new faces in the congregations. I stand out here looking around. I see several people that I don't personally know by their name. I see them every Sunday, but I don't personally know their names yet. And I know that, there's a lot of new people in YFM. That place is just exploding with children, especially our elementary ages. We have a YOU group now, the high schoolers. And then I started thinking, the giving has dropped, but I'm thinking, why is that? And I started thinking, how do I change when I'm in transition in my life? 2011, I lost my job. I got a significant life-changing medical diagnosis, and it impacted me because then I stepped back. I stopped even coming to church for a little while, then I came back, and I'm like, how does that impact me? So how is all of this change here at Unity Renaissance impacting all of you, as well as those of us on the board? And it's a huge impact, in the economy and everything. And I'm not saying, okay, just dig deeper, give more money, because you have bills to pay, we all have that. What I'm saying is, just think about what you can give. Maybe it's time, because we need volunteers for teachers. I spoke to one gentleman this morning, he's gonna step up and teach. We couldn't have a YOU class this morning because we didn't have a YOU teacher. One of them's on vacation, the other one is sick this morning. So our YOUers are sitting in Meyer Hall this morning, enjoying the service out there because they didn't want to come in here, but they don't have a teacher this morning. But what can we do? How do we lift each other up as we transition and search for a new minister? And that's how we come together as a community, because as Jolene and anybody, and Star and whoever else is on the committee can tell you, one of the things that we hear when we interview the candidates, and we've interviewed a couple, is they look at our service, they see the diversity, an age, ethnicity, race, everything, and they see our financial statements, because that's part of the package, and they see that we're a giving, strong community. So all I would say is look inside, maybe skip the Starbucks on the way to church next Sunday. And I know that's a big ask, because when I bring Gavin, it's never less than $15 when I go to Starbucks on a Sunday on the way to church. But can we all afford, to give, don't stop at Starbucks, don't stop at McDonald's, and put that extra $5 into the offering plate, because we are falling a little behind. That doesn't mean we're in dire straits, we're not getting ready to close the doors, we're not at that level. So don't take it like that, it's not like that. You'll find out more when we have our community forum. Just think about what you can give to help uplift the community, because like Paula said when she left, the church is bigger than her. It's going to be bigger than the next minister, but it's always uplifted, and we stand on Judy Meyer's shoulders, Elizabeth's shoulders, Laura Bennett's shoulders, and Paula's shoulders. And granted, those are big shoulders to stand on. So let's just think about that the next time we're sitting here. What can we give? Whether it's time, talent, treasure, just think about that. Thank you.
When everything changes, I can change anything. Turning the pages, everything's new. If life's little stages are teaching me anything, it's everything changes, and I can change too. Used to be when things got crazy, I get to feeling low, but I found out I can't let that faze me. 'Cause honey, now I know when everything changes, I can change anything. Turning the pages, everything's new. If life's little stages are teaching me anything, it's everything changes, and I can change too. Who expects the unexpected? Life sneaking up on you. Sometimes we all feel disconnected. What you gonna do when everything changes? I can change anything. Turning the pages, everything's new. If life's little stages are teaching me anything, it's everything changes, and I can change too. Tim. the pages, everything's new. If life's little stages are teaching me anything, it's everything changes and I can change too. It's everything changes and I can change too. Everything changes and I can change too.
That's Lily Scott, everyone.
What great music, huh? And wow, I mean, the words were perfect for today, so thank you. I'm here to welcome anybody who is here for the first time. Maybe this is your first service at Unity of Renaissance. Or is there anybody here? Raise your hands, please. And we have here we go, a couple people right here. Our ushers, come forward here. Thank you. And our ushers have a package for you, a gift for you. And if you take that gift to the bookstore, which is inside, you will find another gift. So we want you to take advantage of it. Most importantly, we want you to know that you're welcome here. We hope you return, and we thank you for being here. Thank you so much for raising our spirit this morning. Thank you, and God bless.
Time for some awesome announcements. How are you, Lisa?
I'm awesome. Great to be up here with you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
So week 2 of Christopher Naughton's awesome class, Unity and Diversity, starts this Wednesday at 7 p.m. If you missed the first class, don't worry about it. You can sign up. It's completely on Zoom, and it's based on Christopher's awesome book, America's Next Great Awakening. Did I get that right? And the class is $75 if you want to do all 4 of them. It's $20 a piece if you take them separately. And even though you missed one, no worries. You can pay for all 4, and they're recorded, so you can take the course over. It's a fantastic course. I hope to see you there this Wednesday, 7 p.m., Zoom only.
Awesome.
Oh, and let me say, once you sign up, then you'll be notified and be sent you'll be sent the Zoom link after you sign up.
Where can they sign up?
On our website or on our app. Good
Okay.
question, Lisa.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to be having a community forum here after the service on September 24th. We'll be starting around 12:30 right here in the sanctuary, and we'll be discussing two main things. One will be there are 2 proposed amendments to the membership section of our bylaws, so we'll be discussing those, and then also, we'll have an update on the ministerial search, so we'll have more details on where we are with that. Everyone is welcome. You don't need to be a member to attend that, and we will provide child care afterwards, so you can, have your kids off somewhere doing their thing, and you can be in here doing yours.
Like our thing. So coming up is our next installment of our spiritual cinema. Thank you to Charlie O'Dowd for picking out some awesome movies for us. I Am is a movie that was written and produced by Tom Shadyac, who did a lot of Jim Carrey's movies. And it's all about self-search and searching for meaning in life. And we have a trailer for you right now we're going to show you.
My name is Tom Shadyac. I'm a movie director.
Action!
Facing my own death brought an instant sense of clarity and purpose. I decided to grab a camera and a film crew of 4 and start a journey to spark a conversation around challenging and rarely asked questions.
Have you ever seen any of my movies? Did you ever see Ace Ventura?
Ace Ventura. Did you ever hear that movie? It was a Jim Carrey movie.
No.
We are asking some of today's significant minds, what's wrong with our world and what can we do about it? Most importantly, what we could do about it.
Science has discovered elements that undermine everything we've been told about how we work and how the world works.
We are more interconnected with each other at a fundamental level than people realized or previously thought.
The truth of who we are is that we are because we belong.
The basis of nature is cooperation and democracy. It's in our DNA.
We're just at the point where technology and this narrative are beginning to come together.
The science shows us that we are all connected.
Very deep connections at a very deep level.
This is the most discovery in all of physics.
What we do at the individual level really does affect the global environment.
We're really geared at a primordial level to feel what another person feels.
It's like we are born to be our brother's keeper. It's the way that we're wired.
This is the emergent story.
We are far grander than we've been told.
We started by asking what's wrong with the world, and we ended up discovering what's right with it.
Nice. So come and get a little bit of that energy on Friday night, next Friday night. Very cool. Oh, we have a spotlight with Miss Carol Ann coming up to tell you all about her Woman of Worth self-love series. Thank you.
Good morning, Unity. I'm Carol Ann, and I'm so happy to be bringing this course to you. It's a 3-session series, and I've been teaching the Women of Worth classes for about 15 years. They're incredibly empowering, and it's time. It's time to live from your worth. It's time to live in that trust and self-confidence and to move out of all the patterning and the disbeliefs and the negative self-talk and the limiting judgments, and that's all that we're going to do. So it's 3 sessions. You can sign up at the Unity site. It starts September 18th, and if you have any questions, feel free to talk to me about it. There's plenty of information about it on the site, and this is a time of empowerment, and it's time for us to be brave and step into who we are. So I hope you'll join us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Carol Ann. Carol Ann has been leading some awesome health and wellness classes here for several years now. I'm sure that's going to be great. Thanks.
Awesome. Well, if you love the Unity Renaissance community, you might be asking yourself, how can I be a part of it more? How can I serve and bring my time, my talents, etc., to the church? So there is going to be a volunteer fair where you can find out all the different volunteer opportunities that are available here at Unity Renaissance, and that will be next Sunday after the service, September 17th. And just come and explore it a little bit more. I think we're going to have different people out in the narthex with sign-up sheets. If you can't be here, we're going to work on a way, if for some reason you can't be here, where you can still find out what those opportunities are and sign up for those.
Thank you. So every week during this ministerial process, we have a board of trustee member out there in the narthex to answer any questions. So if anything pops up in your mind, you want to know where we're at, what's going on, anything at all, we have a board member available for you for that. And today's board member of the day, drum roll please, Christopher Naughton. Stand up, Christopher. There he is.
All right. It's time for the kids to come in, or isn't there? I thought there was one more. Okay. Well, now it's time for the, that was it. Next Sunday, I'm like, there's something else. Next Sunday, join us for our own Reverend Richard McDeesey, who will be giving the talk on Christianity without dogma. It sounds really interesting.
There is such a thing.
And now let's welcome in the children. Please stand.
We are walking in the light of God. 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 We are walking, we are walking, we are walking in the light of God. We are walking, we are walking,
Well, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. We have so many special announcements for you today. My most important one that's kind of a little heavy on my heart is if you notice our YOUers were in Meyer Hall and they weren't here today because we didn't have sponsors or volunteers to teach them today. So that's really weighing on my heart. So if it calls on your heart to volunteer, please talk to B or I. We try to make it super easy for all the volunteers. We write lessons, we hand out the materials, we have everything there waiting for you. We meet you in advance to go over all the lessons, so it's super, super simple. So if you find it in your heart that you'd like to give us 1 hour a month with our youth, we would really, really, really appreciate it. And a good segue into that is today's the perfect day because we have a volunteer workshop. Yay! Right after service. Only again for 1 hour of your time. Thank you so much, Reverend Richard, for the little beat. So today's, yes. It's, hold on. Mr. Jack.
Don't get me started. It's really, you can't imagine it. You might not think that this is right for you. I didn't think it was right for me, but I always joke and say I learned so much from the kids, you know, and it gives you a different perspective on things, and it just feels like you're doing something useful.
Yes, thank you, Jack. He said it better than me. I mean, come on, Mr. Jack, right? And with that all being said, I'd like to hear from our wonderful children and how easy and wonderful it is to work with them. Who is, are we sharing? Oh, we're sharing together? I love that.
They trained you.
Hold it together. Go ahead. You be big girls. Go ahead.
What did you learn today?
What did you learn today?
I can make my own choices.
I can make my own choices.
And they had two strong gentlemen. Gentlemen, don't be shy. Mr. Joe and Mr. Russell. So, I mean, come on, okay? So along with our wonderful, strong gentleman, Mr. Jack, do we have any volunteers?
We are all controllers. We're controllers of our actions and our energy and stuff. I give credits to my dad because, yeah. I choose my attitude.
He said, and he added, everybody chooses their attitude. That's right. Uniteens? Okay, of course, not Sweet Angel Girl.
Today we talked about our heart agreements and how we make our own choices and that everybody should be treated with mutual respect and be treated equally.
And with all those joyous news and wonderful affirmations, please stand for our prayer, protection, and our peace song.
Together.
The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator.
used to hearing the saxophone.